remember when you and I first started working together, you kind of rolled the dice, so to speak. I don't know. Yeah, I think you just kind of felt like, yeah, fuck it. This is a calculated risk to some degree. And I think one of the most memorable things was our very first call. I think you were just like 2 days into it, and you're having a little bit of a tough time, a little bit of a challenge. And I had to remind you politely, respectfully, but also very directly, Kevin, you're a couple days in, man. You gotta do your workout. How do you know if it's working? It's just like in a classic sense. How do you know your workout worked in the gym unless you give it the days it needs to actually grow that muscle? Remember, the results come after the workout. And it's not been an easy journey. You've had some challenges along the way, but holy fuck, here we are, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it is at this point. And you have to marvel at yourself how far you've come in such a small period of time. What would you tell that skeptical version of you now, knowing what you now know? If you had an opportunity, the version of you now, to talk to the version of you that I first spoke to that first week, it's like, oh, I'm not impressed and I don't know. What would you say to yourself?
Hang in there. It only gets better.
Hang in there. Okay, good. I mean, it's hard work, right?
Oh yeah, it's brutal the first 2 weeks.
That's right. And I always tell people, like I told you, and I told you this in the very first call, I just had to politely remind you, Kevin, this is not a magic trick. This is a real workout. Do not think I'm just going to talk to you and give you concepts and wish you well. I'm going to push you. You're into a process I teach you every day, 30 minutes a day, rain or shine. And guess what? The results come after the workout. And yeah, man, first week or two is going to be a little harder because you've never worked out a muscle like this, the most important muscle, arguably. So bottom line is, how has things changed? Like, how do you feel now compared to where you were just 6 weeks ago?
If I have a challenge, I can turn and think about something else. Is one of the biggest things. I can look at something else, or I can change my mind and look at something else, focus on something else when a challenge comes up. I don't have to stay there. I boost and I'm back out of it.
Good. So let me ask you this question now. How do you feel about your future? Like I know, in previous experiences and relationships, things might have been a challenge, and part of what creates, not just for you, but for everybody, what really creates emotional angst for people, anxiety, is knowing deep inside they don't know what they're missing. It's like they have theories, but they know deep inside they still don't know what to do if those same situations repeat themselves in the future. And that is what creates problems for people, anxiety. And that's what they'll never get from the therapist or a counselor, because they'll never have that in a step-by-step, very clear process from a conditioning standpoint and an execution standpoint. But now you got that, man. And I'm not saying things are perfect, Kevin, but you have a real reason to know and believe that no matter what comes your way in your future, yeah, man, you might have challenges, but a challenge is not a plateau. A challenge doesn't mean it doesn't work. It simply means it's a fucking challenge. So how does it feel to know that for the rest of your life, no matter what comes your way, hey, not everything might go your way, but for the first time, you actually have a specific step-by-step game plan that whatever comes your way, you do know how to handle it. Well, how does it feel to know that you will never, ever experience again what you experienced in the past?
Oh, it's great. Not that I don't have, not like you said, not that I'm not going to have challenges and they aren't going to be tough, but I can come back out of them. Mm-hmm. I've got the tools to work back out of them.
And that's game, set, match. That's everything. What else do you really want in life, right? Like, again, this was, I told you from the very beginning, I always tell people this very clearly. I don't guarantee or promise what's going to happen to the other person. I can't do that. Everyone's got a little something called free will. That's not my role. My role is to liberate you, free you, and help you show up as a version that becomes very compelling for people. I always tell people this too, though. With that said, if you do want to have a shot to make it work out, this will be the way, because you will show up as a version of you, literally a biological upgraded version of you who's going to act differently, speak differently, feel differently, and that person's got a real shot. And so ultimately, you can't control people. People are going to do what they want to do. Some people want to be their own worst enemy. But ultimately, your ability to feel great now comes from you and you alone. Where people in the future, they're a bonus. They're an option. You're in? Great. You're not? That's okay too.
Don't waste your time and money. I've been through counseling when I got divorced and it didn't work. Mm-hmm. They take your money, they listen to you, but very little advice, and you're totally interactive, and that's what it takes to come out of that stuff. You've got to have some interaction, and counselors and webinars and that are a one-way deal. You've got to have someone like you to interact with and coach you along. I don't see any other way.
There is no other way. It's not. I mean, and I'm living proof of that. I do what I do, Kevin, because I got trained by some fucking top people. Just like I did for you, people did for me. I didn't read this shit. So I did this because I got to a really dark place. I tell people all the time, there's nothing you're going to tell me in your life that I haven't directly experienced. I was at the ground, and I fucking resurrected myself from the fucking ashes like the fucking phoenix. But I did that because I did things that very few people do, which you did do. And I did. My first program alone was a $10,000 program. And honestly, I felt like I was rolling dice because I was at the fucking ground and I had no money. I had zero. I basically worked my way, did a payment program, whatever, but I felt I had no other choice. And I know for a fact, because just like you, I'm a smart guy, man. I knew all the concepts. I read fucking years, and for some reason, I just wasn't getting the result. And it's like now looking back, hindsight, 2020, didn't matter what I knew. It matters what I can do. And if you can't do it, you don't have the specific step-by-step, you effectively know zero.